This week in post, those photos that are straight and simple, just the basics are needed. Hi everybody, I'm Scott Davenport. Welcome to In Post. So today we're going to talk about the basics, just the basic panel in Lightroom and how that can transform an image. Before I show you today's photo, I want to get your questions. Send them in to me. Comments on the video, contact me through my website, through Instagram, on my blog, however you'd like to get a hold of me. I want to hear from you. I'll get you an answer usually in a day or two, and your question might be featured on an upcoming Q&A episode of In Post or In the Field. Anything photography related, hit me up for it. So let's look at today's photo. So I took this one on that little photo walk that I shared with you earlier in the week. It's a very basic shot, and all I've done with this is change things in the basic panel. Well, okay, all I've done, lens corrections and then a slight vignette. So to prove the point, let's turn off everything here. So we're going to turn off the tone curve. We're going to turn off HSL. We're going to turn off split toning. You're going to turn off detail. I think there's a default that Lightroom applies. So let's leave that alone. So I haven't done anything with that. I'll turn off lens corrections. You'll see the shift there. So I'm going to leave that on. Transform, nothing happened. And effects, you'll see the vignette. So everything else is this basic panel. And so I'm just going to reset this whole thing here. Option, reset tone, reset presence. So this is what the photo was coming out of the camera. Again, turned on lens corrections and let Lightroom do its default thing with detail. But otherwise, all right, and then camera calibration, right? The things that are kind of under the covers, really nothing fundamental done to this photo. And this is the kind of like a snapshot, a quick shot of me doing a little photo walk around. But I found that when I've got a histogram that looks like this, right? Everything's kind of just grouped in the center, a lot of midtones. I don't need much more than what's going on in these in the basic panel. I didn't even bother changing white balance. I was just happy with the way the colors were. So let me undo these things and we'll walk through them a little bit first. Let me clear out the clarity and so forth. So what's going on here? Not a whole lot, right? Contrast, reset that. Exposure. So exposure, it felt a little bit dark to me. And looking at the histogram, a little spot right up here, I wanted to inch that over closer to pure white. And so that's where I think I had this at like 35 or something like that, somewhere around here. The number is not quite important, it's the look. After that, it's all right, I've got a decent looking histogram. I want to stretch it out a little bit. That's where contrast comes in. So I started adding a healthy amount of contrast. That was upwards, 50, 60 or so. Already, those two changes alone make a big difference. Let's take a look here. Without and with. It's popping a little more, it's a little brighter, the colors are a little bit richer. And that's when we're going to go down to presence here. Add some clarity, add a little bit of vibrance. And I don't recall I added saturation at all because it just didn't feel like I needed it. This wasn't incredibly colorful wood, but it certainly had some playfulness to it. So that's really it, and that is kind of the tip of the week. I think if you see a histogram where you've got a collection of midtones, start with just your basics. You don't necessarily have to launch into plugins or if you're using a different program, you're using Luminar, you're using On1, look at that histogram and just start with your fundamental settings. And that might be all that you need to make your image pop. And that's going to do it for today's In Post video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, let me know somehow. Social shares are always appreciated. Likes, comments, all that stuff. It's always encouraging. It takes 2 seconds for you to click a button that says, yeah, you like the video. It really encourages me to come back and do more of them. So if you got a moment, hit a button. Let me know that, yes, you got some value out of this, or at the very least, you want me to come back and do something else again next week. Well, until next time, my name's Scott Davenport, and happy shooting. And how many more things can I rattle off before I actually deliver some information? Man, it's warm in here today. Of course, it's 90-something degrees out, and I turned off the air conditioning, so it didn't make noise while I'm recording. Hot coffee didn't help either.